Recently, I was browsing for a pair of slippers to buy for my dad's birthday. Just when I had thought I found the exact pair I was looking for, I realized that they were, in fact, just the color he despised. I thought this was a shame, as there were no other alternatives in the same design as the one I loved. Then it dawned upon me, the company has no idea why I did not buy the slippers. So I tried to go out of my way to suggest adding different color schemes. For me to find this, it took forever to do so, with the only customer service being an email address. This was not ideal. This made me come up with my business idea, suggestions.com. This would be a website and an app, but for simplicity's sake, I'll refer to it as a website. All complaints for all companies can be sent from the same website in order to simplify the customer support service. There will be two functions to my website. The first is for the community to provide complaints. As shown on the example, there are four options: to write complaints, to specify to a specific company, to view previous complaints and make amendments where necessary, to view the rewards, more on that later, currently collected, and to view relevant responses. Finally, the top right circle indicates the user's profile, which they can press to sign out. The second function would be to provide companies a platform to suggest ideas and receive feedback from the general public. The search bar at the top of the page allows the user to search by companies that they're interested in and to vote and provide suggestions. Companies could pay extra to be placed on the front page. Users would vote the idea from a scale of 1 to 5 stars, with the ability to leave a comment as well as to leave feedback on the idea. I came up with examples to demonstrate this idea. Now, how does this benefit the environment? By providing the community to voice a way to voice their complaints, the real demand for a good can be achieved, assuming companies debate the suggestions raised, moving the equilibrium point from E1 to E2. This decreases welfare loss, which implies that this is a better allocation of resources. This is also a Pareto, allocative, and socially efficient equilibrium. Since there is no need for the service to be in city centres, it could be powered through geothermal energy in Iceland, for example, where they utilize it from everything for everything from factories to housing. How does it benefit the social subsystem? The website acts as a medium of conversation between the community or consumers and the companies. It gives people a platform to raise suggestions which companies may choose to discuss and pursue. This can be seen as a raise in the standard of living, as people have greater voting power than beforehand. It also gives companies a platform to raise suggestions and receive feedback without having to spend a lot of money on focus groups and testers. How does it benefit the economic subsystem? Firstly, companies will pay for a subscription to use the website. This could be annual, monthly, or some other arbitrary length. They can also pay. They can also pay to have their suggestions displayed on the front page. One key detail is that the website will be free to use. This will encourage consumers to interact with the website by leaving feedback. This can be amplified by giving consumers benefits for leaving feedback. Examples include remuneration or discounts for the company for which they left feedback. Now, who are my stakeholders? By identifying them, I can effectively communicate and manage with them, as they may require different styles. I believe that my shareholders are employees, consumers and community who I've grouped together, and the environment, as well as shareholders. In order to communicate with shareholders, I shall hold an annual general meeting. This is primarily held to allow shareholders to vote on both company issues as well as future projects and the selection of the company's board. By providing financial and even managerial statements, it can give shareholders peace of mind that the company is being managed effectively. One of the biggest problems in managing employees is the principal agent problem. This is where the managers only delegate work and have no idea if this is being performed as effectively as possible. This is due to employees having satisfying behaviour, as there is no incentive to work harder for marginal improvements. This can be removed by aligning goals of managers and employees. This can be through increased job security with longer job tenure guaranteed, or by giving all employees some shares in the company. This would reduce short-term profit thinking, as well as encourage employees to work as hard as possible. There would also be encouragement to limit micromanaging, but more on that later. Now, consumers and community have been grouped together as they're the same group of people, apart from consumers also including subscribed companies. Communication to both these groups can occur via private message on the app. These messages can entail information about expected updates, downtime, as well as announcing new subscribers to the community. Promotion of the website can be communicated to the community and consumers via adverts. Finally, the only management that the website has to deal with is relaying messages from companies to consumers. This can include warning messages to stop griefing or saying hurtful messages and spam. Therefore, if the user does not stop, the website could be told by the company to block the user from their company page. Quite a mouthful. This has to be communicated to the user from the website, along with a warning saying further bans from other companies could lead to suspension or account removal from the website. The relayed message could also be positive, such as notifying users of a new suggestion they posted or response to the user's feedback. The environment is the smallest stakeholder, as the company is practically all online, and the main target for the environment is reducing emissions. Whilst this is done via using geothermal energy in Iceland, a renewable energy source, further policies could be introduced, such as encouraging workers to take public transport to work. The industry certification I aim to receive is a B Corp. According to their website, a B Corp certification is your commitment to using a business as a force for good, whilst giving you tangible benefits. Research shows that B Corps outperform their UK peers across several business metrics. By joining the movement, you become part of a wider community of companies who are using business as a force for good. This, along with what is assessed to receive one, aligns well with the suggestion's business model. Why a B Corp? I believe it represents a healthy work environment. By being a certificate holder, I would receive the benefits of receiving an exclusive invitation to networking events with other B Corps. The current B Corps I'll be interested in collaborating with include Amplify and Uprise Up, as they largely operate online. This collaboration could include environmental projects or just dealing with deals to have their company operate on my website. Now, how will I? What? Oh, fine. Yeah. So what? Why? And then how? How will I receive this B Corp? As a profit-making company, I would have to wait 12 months of operations before attempting the BIA, or the B Impact Assessment. This is a test that assesses 5 aspects of operations: governance, sharing financial information with employees and other primary users, as an example; workers, for example, writing a policy to support breastfeeding at work could be assessed; community, writing and circulating a supplier code of conduct in the same vein; environment, monitoring and recording energy and water usage; and customers, improving transparency of the data and privacy policy. These were examples of areas that could improve your BIA score, 80 of which are needed to pass. By meeting the B Corp legal requirements, between 7.5 and 10 points are assigned to the score. There are 2 types of questions on this assessment: operational, which are in the examples above, and impact business model. This rewards businesses which are deliberately set up to create high levels of social or environmental impact for a stakeholder group. Given that my whole website is designed to create higher levels of social impact for both consumers and community, this aligns well with the business model. Now, what style of leadership should I adopt? According to Kantar, change adept organizations cultivate the imagination to innovate, the professionalism to perform, and the openness to collaborate. This resonates with the suggestion's business model, as it would be a change adept business. Furthermore, innovation is required as competition could easily become apparent. More on that later, though. There are different criteria of different management styles. The 6 identified by POP include attitude towards responsibility, which I would insist on being laissez-faire as the goal should not be to gain managerial roles, but to perform for the company as well as possible. Authority used by manager, which would be democratic, as I believe employees' voices should be heard, but it gives managers the power to direct the debate. Organizational initiative and consideration for the workforce, which would be consideration in the same vein as democratic authority, as employees should be treated as equals. Concern for production and employees, which would be staff orientated, as management should focus on human resources, taking care of all their employees' problems and creating a pleasant work environment. Concern for production, employees, and efficiency, which would be organized as managers. As managers should use modern management methods, including science, technology, and innovation. And types of motivations, communication characteristics, nature of cooperation, and decision-making strategy. This would be done in a participative advisory style, as managers should discuss employees' task assignment, but main objectives are still established by the manager alone. I would try to target recruitment of employees straight out of university. This could be enhanced by going around universities and giving talks, spreading messages of spreading the message and the goals of the company. Suggestions could also set up competitions from prize essays to coding challenges. This would increase brand recognition with the relevant target employees. Finally, sponsorship of certain students through a university could be provided. This would create good faith as well as potential news coverage. Retention of employees could be achieved through maintaining a healthy work environment. This can be created by implementing a 4-day work week alongside a generous benefit scheme. Studies have shown increases in productivity as well as decreases in stress, and number of staff leaving the firm compared to previous years. I would make sure that there is no data-driven performance analysis that Amazon uses. This is highly inhumane and can be a source of anxiety. Just to the point, 39% less stressed, according to the June 22 worldwide study, and 57% fewer staff left the firm compared to previous years. Now, how would I develop? Employees can be developed by providing free training alongside their work. Whilst this is risky as they could leave the company after receiving training, the retention scheme would disincentivize this, along with the increased company loyalty after this training. Furthermore, employees could be given an option to shadow or hire employee for some arbitrary time to get an insight as to what their work entails. From personal experience, as a shadow intern, this is effective. Currently, there is no true competitor of one website acting as a portal for all websites. However, most companies have a customer service email or reviews to products. The difference between suggestions and reviews is that the reviews tend to be left by people who have bought the goods or service and are now writing feedback. My audience would be customers who did not buy the good or service at all and want to explain why. Furthermore, customers don't have a specific place to receive the general public's advice on their ideas, apart from costly focus groups. Looking at Porters 5, the threat of new entry is medium, as it will take a while to set up a website like it, but big companies such as Amazon have such good brand recognition that once they create an alternative, customers will have a default bias and just use Amazon. Threat of substitution is the same as new entry for this reason. Bargaining power of buyers begins at high, as there will be no traction. Incentives may need to be provided to those who join first. But when the company gains traction, the bargaining power of buyers decreases as there is building pressure to join from their customers who want to voice their opinions. Likewise, bargaining power of suppliers is high at the beginning in order to change the population's behavior and adopt the website for all complaints. Given that there are no rivals currently rival between existing firms is low. Now, I will end my speech on 2 allegories. Firstly, the Hoover, created over 100 years ago, is still used synonymously with a vacuum cleaner. In fact, Hoover is no longer recognized as a brand in my eyes, but now a noun. This shows the importance of being the first brand in an industry. Secondly, Fabrizio Romano is a football journalist, but many see him as much more than that. There's a running joke online that until Fabrizio Romano confirms some of the news, they won't believe it. This shows the importance of being a big name, as football journalism is, in theory, a highly competitive market with little differentials apart from customer loyalty. Thank you for listening, and here are my citations.